Good afternoon and welcome to the Joint Committee Higher Education and Public Safety and Intergovernmental and Military Affairs. Today is Wednesday, March 13th. It's 3 p.m. in room conference room 225. See, this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube, and the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Tuesday, March 17th, 19th, sorry, that's Tuesday, March 19th in conference room 225, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. We do have a 2-minute time limit per testifier, and I want to welcome Chair of Public Safety and Governmental Affairs, Glenn Wakai, and members on both committees. So with that, we will start with House Bill 2805, House Draft 1, relating to health. This appropriates money for the University of Hawaii to conduct a multi-ethnic cohort study and registry regarding the health effects of the 2023 Maui fires. And testifying, we have a number of people today. First of all, Alika Maunokea, testifying for the University of Hawaii.
Hey, aloha mai kako. Aloha chairs, vice chair, members of the committee. Mahalo for this opportunity to provide written and oral testimony. I stand on my written testimony, but again, very grateful for this opportunity. I'm Dr. Alika Maunokea, born and raised in Waianae. I'm professor of epigenetics in the John A. Burns School of Medicine. As co-director of the Maui Wildfire Exposure Study, or Maui West, I strongly support HB 2805 relating to health, as it will provide crucial funding to meet an urgent community need and invites the state to join in our ongoing efforts to support each other in helping our Maui community recover by monitoring environmental exposures and health among those that have been affected by the wildfires. From data collected after years after the tragic events of 9/11 and the California wildfires, for example, we can expect that individuals impacted will likely be at a higher risk for adverse health conditions over the short and long term, including PTSD, lung and heart disease, and even cancer. As far as we can tell, Maui West is the only active surveillance and monitoring service in the community where those impacted get a free assessment that examines mental, cardiovascular, and lung health, collects critical bowel specimens from them to capture any exposures before this disappears, gives them their personal data to help them make informed decisions about their health, links them to care if needed, and even pays for them for participating. As over the past month, preliminary data we collected so far from 670 adult participants in the cohort show emerging health issues that, if left unaddressed now, will only get worse in the future. As an example, 51% of participants we have seen show symptoms of depression. Over 70% are at increased risk for cardiovascular disease. 40% show signs of respiratory issues, and 11% remain uninsured. Given that this is a pretty representative sampling of approximately 11,000 individuals affected, not including children, these numbers are alarming. Many of our participants told us that this was their first health assessment since the fires. Of those that remain presumably healthy, we don't yet know their levels of exposure to environmental pollutants or toxicants. Yet they have an increased risk for diseases in the future. If there were no budget limitations, we would recommend the state to cover the health of everyone impacted, not only now, but when future conditions arise, like the federal government did post 9/11, but that's likely not possible. So what's the solution? Well, funding for this bill will enable Maui West to document the degree to which environmental hazards left in the aftermath of the wildfires might impact health and gather much needed information to better identify those at risk of developing future disease conditions so care can be provided in a targeted fashion and hopefully prevent the onset of these future adverse health conditions that will be more costly to deal with later and have a higher likelihood of leading to further mortality. Research showed that more people died from toxic exposures due to cancer, airway, and digestive disorders 20 years after 9/11 than those that died from the attacks themselves. So let's learn from this and prevent that from happening in our state.
Can you summarize, please?
Sorry?
Summarize?
Yep.
Yes.
I welcome members of the committee here today and the diverse communities represent to join us in a unique initiative that has never been done in our lifetime in Hawaii by supporting this bill, enabling us to expand the study to include children, first responders, and volunteers, and start a Maui wildfire exposed registry to include all those impacted. Thank you.
Denise Conan. And please remind you folks, you have a 2-minute limit. We do have different agendas today, so thank you.
Aloha.
You are not Denise.
No, I'm not Denise. I am representing Denise Conan, chair of the College of Social Sciences. I'm Carl Bonham, executive director, UHERO, and Chair Kim and Wakai and Vice Chairs, thank you for hearing this bill. The university is in strong support of the bill, and we will stand on our testimony. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Don Cariso? Not present. Let's see, Veronica Mendoza?
Hi, good morning. My name is Veronica Mendoza-Jahowski, and I am the Executive Director for Roots Reborn. We are a new organization that stood up in the aftermath of the wildfires, and we stood up specifically to help our migrant, immigrant, and similarly also undocumented individuals from Lahaina. We have almost double the national average of foreign-born folks in Lahaina, so we knew that there was going to be a big need. I just want to highlight that this, the design of this study is very community-minded. It is very inclusive to populations that are typically underserved. And they have been able to reach this population by being very active with their outreach and with their engagement. They have also given participants immediate results on a one-on-one basis. That means that the folks behind me who are running the study, Dr. Monica and just a couple of other folks, gave one-on-one readings to all over 670 participants. That means that folks were able to take their results and feel empowered with those results to take action if they need to take action. And they also provided ways in which they could get served if they were not insured or lacking access to services. And then they also engaged organizations like us, also Maui Medics, Tagnawa, who were able to provide follow-through for these individuals who needed more medical care. We had one individual who's LEP, and they had alarming results, but they were uninsured. And so we were able to assist this individual in getting access to the Hawaii Health Access Program, and they are now fully insured. So just in support of the expansion, this would mean that kids in Kupuna would be a part of this study, and we are very worried. If we're worried with the results that adults, the results that the adults are having, I can just only imagine what the kiddos are going through. And I think it's really important and imperative that we know what's going on with our kids so that we can support them and serve them in meaningful ways. Thank you so much.
Pedro Haro?
Aloha chairs, vice chairs. I'm Pedro Haro, Executive Director of the American Lung Association. I'm here to speak in support of the bill. You have my written testimony. I just wanted to elaborate some of the points that we have made. Obviously, the American Lung Association is incredibly interested in both the registry and the study that are covered under this bill. We have been working with the people of Lahaina and organizations since hours after hearing about the wildfire, as the American Lung Association is always concerned about the air quality and the exposure to toxic chemicals after an event like this. We actually worked with the researchers to create this bill after hearing from 9/11 responders who had talked about that the most important thing that could happen was for something like this to occur for the people of Lahaina. I'm speaking to you as the executive director. I'm also speaking to you as somebody who grew up in Lahaina, graduated from Lahaina Luna. Our family home burned down. My entire family's homes burned down in Lahaina. They have been displaced. And I am firsthand seeing the exposure of the air hours after Lahaina burned down. It's an incredibly important study, and I'm sure that you are all eager to be able to help the people of Lahaina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alex Lichon? By Zoom.
They're not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Dana Moore?
And they're also not present on Zoom.
Okay. Genesis Gill?
Hi, buenas tardes, honorable members of Higher Education and Public Safety and Intergovernmental and Military Affairs. Thank you for the opportunity to testify before you. I am Hennessy Skies, Director of Community Organizing at Roots Reborn, a Maui-led grassroots organization serving the immigrant community while uplifting their voices. Months ago, Dr. Juarez and Dr. Mauna Kea approached the Maui community for guidance in bringing the wildfire exposure study. We chose to collaborate with them because they value diversity and inclusion. With our reach in the community, in our immigrant community, we could ensure our residents were well represented in and served, not just this year, but for the next 5 years. Every weekend, I was at the study supporting the team. I witnessed hundreds of residents receiving preliminary results, many of which alerted folks that they need to seek medical attention due to an array of issues ranging from high blood pressure, pulmonary functions, and lead exposure. They will receive even more results about their overall well-being in a few months. Across our nation, we experience environmental injustices after disasters due to a lack of representation from our marginalized populations. 32% of Lahaina's population is foreign-born. We must change the status quo and not let our community fall through the cracks. We must provide them with the resources for proper recovery. I ask that you all strongly consider appropriating funds for the University of Hawai'i Economic Research Organization to conduct their multi-ethnic cohort study of the 2023 wildfires. It is important that our state makes data-driven decisions in the future. The Maui wildfires were unprecedented, but moving forward, we must leverage our resources to inform the recovery process and support better planning for future disaster preparedness. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nikima Glatt on Zoom. Aloha.
Aloha. Hello. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. And this is very personal, very emotional for me. So I just wanted to apologize ahead of time. My name is Nikima Glatt. I'm a mother of a student who attends Lahaina Luna High School above the Burns. I'm a nurse practitioner living and working in Lahaina, and I was a first responder during and immediately after the wildfires in Lahaina. I'm the former medical director of the Maui Medic Healers Hui. I need to step down because I've already been feeling the impact from the exposures myself, so I'm taking some time off right now. I'm also a co-investigator on the Maui West study, and I'm working on my PhD in public health right now. I strongly support this Maui West study and this bill. I don't only want to speak about myself because I'm aware that I'm very lucky to be here today. There are far more people here who have experienced a lot worse than I have. I've personally sacrificed my time. I had to defer my education, and I experienced trauma due to the wildfires, both physically and emotionally. I used to be very fit. I used to run every day, skate 7 days a week. I'm unable to do so due to respiratory complications already, cardiovascular issues, hypertension, lung lesions. I have heavy metal exposures, and I've been admitted to the hospital 4 times since the fires. I'm working with multiple specialists right now on my own detox and chelation therapies and taking time off, as I said. I've lost my ability to work in the past few weeks because of taking this time off. I've had to quit 2 of my jobs, and I've been racking up my own extensive credit card debt just trying to survive. This study is extremely important to not just me, but to our entire community. And even in working with the study and seeing participants, seeing my community come in every single day, thanking us for acknowledging them and recognizing them and helping them out. I think that demonstrates the need for this bill and financial support. I urge you guys to support this bill, to pass this bill. We need to expand the study, not just for adults, but children too. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of my son. I'm terrified for my son. I'm terrified for my son's friends. I'm terrified for my community, my family, and all of my friends who have been exposed. But we need to expand the study and we need the financial support. We need your support. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Anyone else here wishing to testify on this measure, please come up. Please identify yourself.
So Ceci is here, and she's going to testify in Spanish, and I'm going to translate for her, if that's
you have
okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Cecilia, vengo de la comunidad de Lahaina, vengo representando a toda la comunidad y soy voluntaria. Quiero invitarlos a que sigan apoyando este proyecto que inició y que dio muchos resultados porque tenemos un porcentaje muy bueno, pero es muy importante porque los niños se han quedado atrás. El doctor Rubén Juárez y el doctor Ali Camanuca, ellos están aportando esto y es un gran trabajo con todo su equipo voluntario que está dando muchos frutos. Quiero decirles que este examen cuenta con 150 preguntas que se tomó a la parte emocional también, cómo se puede ayudar a la comunidad y que a mí me dio mucha alegría y emoción encontrar este examen porque me di cuenta que emocionalmente estaba mal por el fuego de la jaina. Gracias y quiero compartir esto y que nos sigan apoyando. Gracias.
Thank you. Can you interpret, please?
She said, hi, my name is Cecilia, and I am here to represent the Lahaina community. I'm a volunteer with Roots Reborn, and I am also a survivor. I'd like to invite you to support this study that has already started and given our community a lot of results and insights. With your support, the study can expand to include kids who up until now have been left behind. But the most important thing is that the first step has already been taken, thanks to this group and thanks to Dr. Alika Monakea and Dr. Ruben Juarez and all of the volunteers and organizations that have taken to task in making this a reality. The study had a survey that focused on emotional and mental health, and this is an important part of helping our community, especially in moments of emergency. Personally, the survey helped me realize that I was depressed and that I was emotionally fraught. Can you imagine how the kids are doing? I'm still struggling with the loss of a lot of my friends. As a volunteer, I've seen how many individuals struggled with their lung capacity tests, and I am personally affected myself. And with the results that I was given, I was able to make an appointment to see my doctor, and I feel really lucky that I was able to take action now and early to hopefully prevent and treat any illness. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you today.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify?
Aloha.
Aloha.
Robert Juarez, I'm the HMSA professor in health economics at UHERO. I stand by my written testimony, and I would like to add that your support of HB 2805 is financially prudent for the state. So supporting this bill would enable us to systematically track health impacts, predict outbreaks of chronic illnesses such as cancer, and inform interventions before they manifest in the larger population, while informing the population affected through a registry. Both the active data collection from the multi-ethnic cohort and the registry work hand in hand. This level of proactive planning is something that would have been valuable during past disasters such as 9/11, and now we have the learning experience from previous disaster, but more importantly, we have the science to make this work for Hawaii's populations. This foresight can save millions in potential healthcare costs, reduce the strain on emergency services, and more importantly, reduce further mortality associated with the wildfire. To give you a clearer picture, it costs us around $1,000 per year per participant to enroll them in the study. This budget covers a wide range of expenses, including various tests such as urine tests for heavy metals, blood and saliva tests, medical exams, incentives for participants, support for community organizations. This comprehensive suite of analysis is not something that you'll find in a healthcare setting. So this is the only way for the community and frankly for the state to get this data and make informed decisions. Investing in Bill HB 2805 is investing in the economic health of Hawaii.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to testify? Okay, not members, questions? Any questions, Senator?
Carl. Dr. Bond, I'm looking at the previous committee reports on this measure, and then just to get an idea of the cost of this study. So at one point, the study was $1.5 million. The registry was supposed to cost $830,000, both I think which are wise investments. But what this bill only seems to contemplate is a point in time picture. Shouldn't this bill be like whenever you capture all of that, put the registry together, just let's say it's 2025, that we also measured in 27, 29, to just see how people are doing, because all we're gonna do is capture how many people affected and what's your ailments in a point in time. But that doesn't really help, right? Our role should be just to ensure that we're guiding people to recover from these effects, rather than just say, here's the ill effects of the fire.
So you're absolutely correct that we do need to do this over time, and unless, jump in if I get this wrong. So my understanding is that those numbers, the 1.5 is 1 year to expand the cohort to children, and then the registry really is a one-time cost. So basically that literally is a list of people who were affected, right? We also have a NIH grant that we've submitted that would be used. We're hopeful that it's a $2.5 million federal request, and that's being considered right now. So 1.5 won't get us all the way to the end.
But you're assuming that there's gonna be federal monies that come down the pipe that can help this
And the other-
longitudinal study.
Correct. And we're also in contact with our delegation and putting in requests that way. And the other thing to point out is that the initial work, the only reason that we've even gotten to this point right now is because of the support from Hawai'i Community Foundation. So there are a lot of players contributing to this, and it'll take all of them to do the full job.
I have a couple of questions as well. Members, any other questions? So the Hawai'i Community Foundation, I mean, they've been given a lot of money for the wildfires. So,
Yes,
I mean, it's,
and they're supporting this. I
yeah,
mean,
well, they
that's
should
how we
be,
got.
right? I mean, that's why they got all the money. I mean, we're concerned about where did all the money go? Where is it, how it's being parceled out? Do we use it for cohorts and studies, or do we use it more for some of the families that need it now? I mean, those are the questions that have not been really
And
weighed and answered as to what are our priorities as we move forward.
I can't speak to where all the money that HCF Maui Strong is where all that's going, right? That's not, I don't have that information. I only have tidbits of it. So I really can't speak to that. But yes, I agree. They should support it, and they are. And
To what tune are they supporting?
So they gave us $250,000 to get it started, and it won't surprise me if we go back. If we go back to them, tell them we need more, I suspect that we will get more.
And the 250,000 was for the exposure study?
Yes,
Okay, and what was the total cost of the exposure study?
I'm pretty sure we've exhausted that budget, isn't it?
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
was that budget?
250,000.
Oh.
That's the initial work to get everybody registered and start doing tests.
So if everyone's registered,
So we have 670 people registered. The original goal was 1,000, and we actually got to 670 much faster than we expected. And we actually stopped because we exhausted
right?
the
So
budget.
if we did the study plus the registry for 250,000, why is it $830,000 for a registry?
We should probably get that straight from
Okay.
Ruben.
What is your question again? So why is it 830,000? plus 1.5?
830,000 for
Registry,
a
yeah.
registry.
So, okay, so there are expenses associated with recruiting participants and expenses associated with like analyzing the samples, taking that to the lab, etc. Right? It costs us $1,000 per person to do the whole suite of analysis, right? Some of that comes in recruitment costs, which is a tiny cost relative to like the medical test, taking that sample, etc. Right now, we're able to get only 670 people, thanks to that 250,000 that HCF gave us, okay, to do this recruitment cost. Basically analyze the samples. All the samples are right now biobanked at the University of Hawaii, and we are unable to pay to analyze these samples for heavy metals, volatile exposures, things like that, for these 670 people, okay? Because
So
we
you
just don't have the
haven't-
money.
You haven't analyzed.
We
the
analyze all the
social-
social aspect. We analyze some part of it, some of the results that we give on the spot to participants, because we have like an emergency medical, basically analyzer, blood analyzer.
that we give to results to participants. But like heavy metals, all of that, we haven't analyzed. So that's the first thing. That's the first cost. The second thing is this bill is allowing us to do an expansion of 1,500 people in Lahaina. So $1,000 times 1,500 is 1.5 million. Okay, so that's basically what we are asking right now. Okay, that's expense one. The second, this is only 1,500 people. There is way more people affected, right? So the second expense is to build a registry to be able to like register all the people affected in Lahaina, so we're able to, one, inform them if there is any intervention that the Department of Health or the scientists recommend. And the second thing is to potentially analyze their risk via medical records and a few other things, right? So this is 10,000, 12,000 people that we're hoping to cover with this registry, and that's 850,000. So it's two things.
So if I can jump in just to be clear, so that 250,000, part of the goal, the reason we went to HCF was because we knew NIH wasn't going to come through fast enough. The goal was to get people registered and collect samples as early as possible, right? And so, but we don't have the resources to do all of the tests, right? So we have the samples and we've done the screening, right? So for instance, checking for cardiovascular issues, I can do that in when they come in and register, but we can't follow through on the remainder tests without additional resources or expand the cohort and include keiki.
So you're saying it's $1,000 per person to analyze?
Correct.
And it's-
Well, and $1,000 per person to do the whole suite of recruitment, analysis, things like
And
that,
it's
right?
costing us $1,000 a day to house from just 500 people. And then it's costing millions. I mean, it's like, you know, we're running out of money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that we have to prioritize what it is we're going to spend the money on. Unfortunately, it's unprecedented, as we've said. But these are the things that at the end of the day will have to be weighed all throughout. And that's why Hawaii Community Foundation should be the one to fund these things, because the money was given to them for the wildfires, for Lahaina, for Maui. And we're not sure the accounting for that money. And I would suggest that you do go back to them and ask them for funding. And this bill also calls for you to get funding from the federal government. It doesn't really say what proportion. It just says seek federal funding in addition to the funds appropriated. So not sure what portion of that you intend to seek federal funding
So
for.
can I,
Yes,
so let me just clarify that what this bill is funding is right now allowing us to like expand right now to keiki and to first responders and adults that were unable to like enroll in February.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't say that though. The bill just says that you can do a multi-ethnic cohort strategy.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah,
$1.5 million to do 1,500 people. That was agreed
Yeah,
from the
then
beginning.
there's no money in the bill. There's no money in the bill. It's blank.
Well, the committees recommended 1.5 million and 130,000.
I'm just
So that's
telling you what's in the bill. And then it does say that the University of Hawaii shall seek federal
Yeah,
and
and
community funding in addition.
Can I explain that?
Yes.
So basically, we discussed that with Representative Belari, who introduced this bill along with her committee. And the goal was for year one, the state will pay for this. It's an investment that we are making in Hawaii's population. And then after that, we're already working with federal partners. We sent two proposals to the federal partners. We're working with Senator Schatz. We're working with other representatives to be able to bring federal money to support this for the next 10, 20 years. This is an investment that we are doing in Hawaii's
Understand.
population.
I'm just telling you what's in the bill, and we can only go by what's in the bill. We cannot go by what Representative Valadi told you or had talked with you, because certainly she did not talk with us.
Okay.
So whatever's in the bill is what I'm questioning, because those things are not in the bill.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So whatever is missing in this bill, because I'm familiar with this bill, right? It's just the number and the date that is going to start. And the number I'm telling you is 1.5 million plus 130,000.
But it doesn't say what the federal amount should be. What's the community funding amount should be?
After year one, we are committing to funding this from federal funds from Hawaii Community Foundation and a few other partners.
Understand, but
We're not gonna come back to that, to the state for money.
okay,
So-
the bill says you shall do this, but the bill doesn't say to what tune. Is it matching funds? Is it in addition funds? So these are the questions that I have.
So I understand that the bill doesn't have some of the language that we would like it to have. And I don't think we can, so in terms of how much we are already asking for the federal government, it's way more than a match, right? So it's roughly a match.
So we
right?
could
But
say
our-
a matching or more.
That's what our current ask at NIH is 2.5 million.
And who's actually going to do the study? Because this doesn't really say, it just says University of Hawaii.
Yeah, so
Who actually
this
does it?
works. It's a partnership between tons of units of the universities led by Alika Mauna Kea, who's here at the medical school, myself at UHERO. And it includes Cancer Center, it includes several
Social Science
units, Social
Research
Science
Institute,
Research Institute, et
the
cetera.
Pacific Disaster Center. There's partnerships all across campus and in the community.
Understood. But again, the bill just says appropriate monies to University of Hawaii for multi-ethnic cohort. Basically, the administration could just say and designate somebody else to do
Yeah,
it.
yes, I
Right.
understand that.
Okay.
I thought that it specified UHERO, but I might be wrong.
There is a
No, I guess
UHERO in
I'm
there.
reading it
There is
wrong.
UHERO in
I
the
think it's in
language.
there somewhere.
Yeah, it's on point 2 or 3. University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization.
Okay, any other questions? Not, okay, thank you very much. Okay, if that's it, we will recess. Call the joint committee back to order for decision-making. The recommendation of the chairs would be to pass out House Bill 2805. We will go ahead and add in section 3, where it says Hawaii shall seek federal funding, that it should be matching funds, if not matching funds or more. And also the same language for community funding as well. And we will do technical non-substantive amendments for clarity and consistency. We will leave the appropriation blank for the Ways and Means to fill in. It already contains a defective date and already contains a statewide concern statement. So if there's any discussions on this measure, not.
Oh, you're not going to take your vote first?
Okay, take the vote for HRE.
Okay,
Thank you. Chair votes aye.
thank you. Senator Kidani is excused. I vote aye. Senator Hashimoto and Senator Pavella.
Aye.
The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
For PSM members, same recommendations as outlined by the Chair of the Committee on Higher Education. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elefante, I vote
Okay,
yes.
Chair's recommendations to pass HB 2805 HD1 with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Fukunaga,
Aye.
Senator Rhodes,
Aye.
Senator Wah. Mr. Chair, recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We're adjourned with this year. Thank you for your patience. We're convening the joint committees between the Committee on Public Safety, Intergovernmental and Military Affairs, and our good friends from the Committee on Health and Human Services. It's 3 o'clock on this March 13th in room 225. We are streaming this hearing live on YouTube. If we have any kind of technical difficulties, we will post notice as to when we will reconvene. We are going to limit testifiers to 1 minute to present their case before the committees, and we'll jump into our agenda. First, House Bill 2183 HD1 relating to sexual exploitation. First in our testifiers list, we have Michelle Pu from the Attorney General's office.
Good afternoon. I'm a Deputy Attorney General with the Criminal Justice Division of our department. We are the statewide prosecutors for our office. We support the overall intent of this bill, offering some comments. Law enforcement and prosecutors have altered their approach to commercial sexual exploitation type cases over the past few decades. Those who work in this space are already victim-centered and trauma-informed and have received training to that effect. It's difficult to identify a prosecution of a survivor of these types of offenses currently. It's just not the current practice. It is for that reason that we noted in our testimony that we believe this bill is not necessary. However, should you proceed with this bill, we do not share the concerns raised by the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office in their previous testimony to a previous committee. However, in an effort to address that potential concern, in an abundance of caution, we did note a revision just to address that, should it be necessary.
Thank you, Ms. Pu'u. Rochelle Vindiha from the Prosecuting Attorney's Office.
Aloha, good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Vidina. I'm a Deputy Prosecutor with the Honolulu Prosecuting Attorney's Office. And our office does support the overall intent of House Bill 2183 as well. It does establish safe harbor protection for survivors of sexual exploitation who seek medical or law enforcement assistance. And it is aligned with the victim-centered approach currently utilized by the Department of the Prosecuting Attorney, the Honolulu County Human Trafficking Task Force, law enforcement and service providers here in our community. The one, I guess, place in the bill that we'd like to point out is HRS 712-1207, which we believe unintentionally provides the safe harbor protection to exploiters or buyers as well. Under 712-1207 1B and 2B, this protection, which is intended for victims of commercial sexual exploitation, inadvertently, I believe, extends to protecting the buyers as well, or the exploiters as well. So we would recommend that those subsections be excluded from the safe harbor protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. Mike Lambert from the Honolulu Police Department has submitted testimony in support. Chris Caulfield, also in support. Mike Golichu, in support. Dara Carlin, Morris Matsunaga, and Will Caron, all in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on House Bill 2183? If not, members, any questions? I have a question for Ms. Pu'u. For the intent of the two chairs is to pass this measure out, but we want to contemplate the amendment you suggested about page 14, line 16. Can you explain to me how this the exception of subsection 1B and 2B is helpful to this bill?
It exempts the buyers, as Ms. Vidina was saying.
Okay.
We didn't think that the safe harbor protection is something that a buyer would avail themselves to, which is why we said we didn't share that concern. However, in an abundance of caution, that would be a way to explicitly say it does not apply to a buyer.
Okay, so right now, I mean, the intent is obviously to protect the individual who might be trafficked and be doing this not because of their own will.
Correct.
But with the language as written now, the perpetrator,
Correct.
What is protected by this?
That's what the
Yeah,
Honolulu
okay.
Prosecutor's Office's concern is. We didn't read it that way. Of course, an argument could be made to that effect. However, with this revision, it would explicitly bar that, which is why us noodling together, that was our proposed revision to the bill itself.
Okay,
Which will make it explicitly clear
thank you.
if codified.
I enjoy noodles.
We always noodle together.
Thank you. Any further questions? Check. Check. Oh, I'm sorry.
A follow-up for the, you can stay there, prosecuting attorney? Yeah. So in follow-up to Chair Wakai's question, does that address your concerns?
It absolutely
Okay.
does. Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Me noodle.
Yes. Keep noodling for the community. Members, we're going to go on to the next measure is House Bill 2230. HD1 relating to law enforcement. On our testifiers list, we have Tia Hartsock.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, members of the committee. My name is Naomi Leipold. I'm standing in behalf of Tia Hartsock, our Director at Office of Wellness and Resilience. I'm a project manager with the OWR. We are standing in support of this measure. We have participated so far supporting on this measure. We see it in our office's alignment to make Hawaii a trauma-informed state, and we are excited that the committees have taken up this measure so far. We're here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Michael Vincent from DLE has submitted commentary. Robert Cavaco from Shopo in support. Raymond Follett from the Hawaii Psychological Association also in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on House Bill 2230? Members, any questions of Naomi? If not, I'm going to hand it over to my able counterpart.
Thank
Chair
you very
Sandra
much.
Nabentura.
HB 1831 relating to crisis intervention. First up, we have the Office of the Public Defender in support.
Good afternoon, Chair, committee members. My name is Ben Lowenthal. I'm at the Public Defender's Office. We stand by the testimony submitted by my colleague, Ms. Tomasa. I'll just add that this is a pilot program that could do a lot of good, not only for our clients, but for the most vulnerable people in the community. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Kelly Nixon, Office of Hawaiian Affairs in support.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. My name is Kaylee E. Nixon, representing the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We will stand on our written testimony in support. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Hawaii State Department of Health in support.
Hi, good afternoon. Courtney Matsu, Medical Director and Acting Administrator for Adult Mental Health Division. We stand in strong support for this bill. We appreciate folks coming out to see our crisis center. And as you might have heard, it is a mechanism for us to really address the gaps in the crisis continuum. So I think it will address a lot of needs that are currently not being met. If you have any questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next we have Jennifer Awong, Judiciary and Support. Jennifer, please proceed.
Chairs, good afternoon, chairs, vice chair, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Awong, and I am the staff attorney for the Criminal Administrative Division of the First Circuit Court. The judiciary stands on its written testimony in support of this measure, and I'll be available to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Kirby Shaw, DCAB in support. Next, we have State Council of Mental Health in support. Susan Coons, County of Hawaii Office of Housing and Community Development in support. Kat Beatty in support. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committees. Kat Brady testifying in strong support for Community Alliance on Prisons. You know, our work over 3 decades has really informed our testimony on this. We have a pressing need for behavioral health services. The thing that really makes it work is its collaboration. Lots of people have many different issues that they're dealing with. So to have a collaborative group that actually people could access the help they need is exactly what we need. And I hope it passes this bill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Louis Urchik, Hawaii Disability Rights Center in support. Okay, Alan Johnson, Hawaii Substance Abuse Coalition in support. JC Mikulanet, Queens in support. Brian Talisayan, Mental Health America of Hawaii in support. Dr. Elizabeth England, Mental Health Hawaii Medical Association in support. Aloha Care in support. Opportunity Youth Action Hawaii in support. Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction in support. ACLU in support. Imaging Public Safety in Hawaii Coalition in support. Hold on, I'm not there yet. Hawaii Psychological Association support. Carolyn Eaton, I see you in support. Please proceed. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. This bill just made me extremely delighted. and I wanted to express my wishes that it become a law, and it's one of the things we need most. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Will Corona in support, Carla Allison in support, Isis Osborne in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on HB 1831? Seeing none, members, any questions?
I do.
Okay, so Senator,
I guess for Department of Health.
okay, Dr. Matsu, come on up.
Okay, with a lot of the discussion that has occurred over the last several years, this pilot project calls for 2 centers, and I know on the neighbor islands, this has also been a very pressing need. Does your department have any kind of thoughts on where you would want to go beyond the initial setup pilot phase, and what your I guess timetable might be for adding on? Because I think most people seem to agree that this is really long overdue, and whether or not 2 is sufficient for a pilot project is, I guess, the question. Will you have enough data in order to make a determination?
Sure. In terms of looking at other locations for another site, we are very cognizant for the needs, not just on Oahu, but the neighbor islands. Certainly looking at population size, the west side of Oahu would certainly benefit from a location. For the neighbor islands, I think it's going to require collaboration with other facilities. For example, on Kauai, Samuel Mahaloana is looking at building a new campus. And we have been in discussions with them in terms of how we would necessarily try to work together to integrate crisis type of beds, similar to this center, but perhaps in this one would be more closely aligned with that hospital. Similarly for the Big Island, I think we want to work together with Hilo Medical Center, but also with the community there to see how we could partner with other agencies to build, to have a partnership where we could utilize our clinical resources a little bit more efficiently, because it might be too costly to have 2 separate sites, kind of like how we have here. We might need to integrate it together with other types of clinical services.
Okay, thank you. I think
questions?
There's a great need, but let's move on.
Thank you. Okay.
I had a question.
Okay, go ahead, Senator Rhodes.
For Doctor. So on page 2 of the bill, section 2 says experiencing a mental health or substance use disorder crisis. What does crisis mean? Because there's some talk that the center that was just opened in Evil is only open for people who are suicidal or but not for your sort of average crisis going on. So what does crisis mean in this instance?
I'll explain. So the intent is to be open for all, meaning that it's for anybody, whether you are an involuntary or voluntary need for services. Crisis meaning behavioral health, if there's severe depression, suicide, aggression, that this would be a place where, whether it's the police or crisis mobile outreach, can bring somebody to get assessed and further help.
Okay, so
currently,
if you just had a person who was schizophrenic and hadn't hurt anybody,
They
but he
could-
was obviously even been on the street talking
they
to
would be
himself,
welcome.
that would be someone that you would be able to treat.
Yes.
Under this
Yes.
phrase. Okay.
Yes. It was written, the reason why we're focusing currently on suicide is because according to statute, that's what we are allowed to do. We are needing to change some language so that are the MH1s, not suicide, but more aggression, could be sent to this behavioral health crisis center, not just to a
Okay.
psychiatric facility.
But that language applies to this bill?
Yes, it's in there. That was our recommended amendment.
No, I mean, the one that focuses on suicide. You're saying that we need a change in statute to make it so we can take care of people who are beyond, other than those who are suicidal.
Correct,
So
because
would it be appropriate to put it in this bill so that it's clear that it's,
yes, I think it is in there. That was our suggested amendment.
what was a suggested amendment? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but just got here like,
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Stick around, Dr. Matsu. And you can come on up, Marion Suji. Big question. I got the late testimony
Yes.
that says funding, but there is no testimony as to how much.
Correct.
So
So
how much? And is this, are there your requests here for 2 behavioral health centers in addition to the Evile one?
no, the implication was that it would include Evile and one other neighbor island
So you already
pilot.
got funding for Evile.
We
so
don't.
You don't?
No, we actually used some ARPA funds to stand this up, since we weren't able to secure any funding through last legislative session. So we were able to secure some ARPA funds to get this started this year. It's half a year. But we are looking for funding for, to sustain the
So we're
center.
back to how much?
So it would be 6.7 for Evile and another 3 for Neighbor Island.
So
We
yes. And any of that, any of the Evile or the 3 million gonna be matched by the county? Because I know that Evile had poor services with it.
Evile was a partnership with the city, so it's the city's building. So we are MOUing the building over to us, and we're providing all the services.
So the 6.7 does not include, I guess, the rental of the building because that is County of Honolulu's.
Correct. There's no cost to that.
Is the County of Honolulu providing any services or any matching funds for Evile?
No, they are not.
When the 3 million, I know that there was discussions with John Mizuno and Susan Kuntz, who is one of the testifiers in favor. Is there any County of Hawaii matching funds?
We are in discussion with Mayor's office, but have not solidified any formal agreement.
So I think an off the record discussion was that you had stated that these monies are already in the budget. Is it the Senate
Yes.
version or the House version of the budget?
We've asked for the Evile money in the governor's budget. The House Finance turned that into $1, but then added the Evile and the pilot into the budget. So it's in the House version.
Only of the 6.7, but not the 3 million.
6.7 plus the 3.
It's in the House version.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions on this line of questioning? Because I have some more, sorry.
Oh.
Okay, so, Ms. Awong, are you still present? No, I see public defender here. They'll come on up. You can stick around, Dr. Matsu. Oh, Ms. Awong, good. Stick around, and public defender, could you come on up and stick around? Okay, we had an informational briefing on arrest diversion. And my question is, we set up these behavioral health centers. Is this a possibility and I understand in the global discussion of treatment of mental health, arrest diversion is a subset of this global treatment of mental health. But it seems to me when we had the informational briefing with the governor's senior advisor, he didn't took into account behavioral health treatment centers. How is the judiciary, public defender, and I don't have a prosecutor, are you folks referring people for pre-arrest diversion into potentially Eagle A or other triage centers?
Yes, that was discussed at the info briefing. It is, as I said, we take everybody. And so that is a possibility, is for them to send folks to the BHCC to get evaluation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Matsu. Jennifer Owong and Public Defender, do you have any stats as to any referrals or pre-arrest diversion or post-arrest diversion to the triage centers? And Eagle A just got stood up, so we can't count that. But to any other behavioral health centers? Because when I got the judiciary's report, I didn't see any.
So I'm sorry, if you're asking about the post-arrest jail diversion programs that are pre-arrest, if it's pre-arrest, we don't have anything to do with it because they don't ever come to us.
Okay, what about post-arrest?
Okay, so post-arrest, we have Act 26, which is the nonviolent petty misdemeanors. Those people would be going, they would be committed to the custody of the Director of Health. Where the Director of Health chooses to place them, it is entirely within their purview. Okay. For the jail diversion programs, they are entered into, once they petition into our program, they are supervised, they're granted supervised release to specific programs depending on their treatment plan that is agreed upon between the defendant, the prosecutor, and the court.
Okay, so it sounds like to me you folks are dependent upon Department of Health to determine which programs to go into? Because I'm trying to figure out whether or not there's potential judiciary monies if we're going to be able to stand this up. I'm sorry. That's why I'm going into pre-arrest and post-arrest diversions.
So for the jail diversion programs, yes, there is an assessment done by the Adult Mental Health Division, and they come up with the treatment plan where they, I mean, I would defer to the Department of Health as to what facilities they are utilizing, in whether it's a group home or, you know, even the person's own home. I believe we have one person that may enter jail diversion, and I think he's going to remain in his own home with his family. But as far as services go, they would get case management services. I would assume they would get treatment providers, and that may or may not come through the Department of Health.
Is that from the judiciary? That's why you know that they are getting case management services?
I know that they're getting, I know that our jail diversion people are getting case management services because we work with the Adult Mental Health Division jail diversion program people, and they come, we have hearings, review hearings, and they report to us.
Okay, so
yes,
I'm not going to go there, but I'm just going to make a statement that the 1% success rate of their referrals is dismal. Okay, so it does not sound like the referral services that the judiciary is doing is effective at this time, but that's another bill, and we're going to move on. Any other questions? Seeing none, moving on. HB 1836, Board of Pharmacy, relating to health, Board of Pharmacy and support. Please proceed.
Good morning, chairs and members of the committee. I'm James Kizuski, Executive Officer for the Board of Pharmacy, here to stand on our written testimony in support.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Kirby Shaw, DCAB in support. We have Healthcare Association of Hawaii in support, Hawaii Primary Care Association in support, American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network in support, University of Hawaii in support, Dr. Elizabeth England, Hawaii Medical Association in support. Mihoko Ito, are you present on Zoom?
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, Don Cariso, HMSA. You don't look like Don, but please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair San Buenaventura, Chair Wakai, Vice Chair Levante, member of the committees. Thank you for allowing us to submit our comments. We support the intent of the bill. The only thing that we would ask the committees to consider is making that the applicability be directly to people impacted by the emergency. But that's all we have for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, anybody else wishing to testify on HB 1836? Okay, seeing none, moving on. HB 2084 relating to homelessness. First up, DLNR providing comments. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have John Mizuno, Statewide Office of Homelessness and Housing Solutions providing comments. Okay, Hawaii Military Affairs Council providing comments. Ted Meehan in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on HB 2084? Members, any questions? And I forgot, were there any questions on the prior bill? Nobody, right? Thank you. Sorry. Moving on, HB 2227 relating to childcare. First up, U.S. Department of Defense in support. Kelly May Douglas, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair Wakai, Chair San Buenaventura, and members of the committee. Kelly May Douglas with U.S. Department of Defense in support of this bill. Just standing on my written testimony and just wanted to share that we continue to work with DHS and collaboration to get the details on implementation of this measure right. But it looks great, and we are in support of the amendments that DHS is putting forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Kathy Betts, Department of Human Services, providing comments. DHS, are you present on Zoom? Oh, you're not. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Hawaii Military Affairs Council in support. Eliza Talbot, Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on HB 2227? Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Seeing none, moving on, HB 2253. First up, this is relating to health. First up, we have Hawaii State Department of Health providing comments. Please proceed, Dr. Smith. Are you here for 2253?
No, 2451.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
No problem.
Honolulu Police Department in support. Is Honolulu Police Department present on Zoom? Okay.
Yes, they are here on Zoom.
Okay, please proceed. Honolulu Police Department. You have
Sorry.
1 minute.
They should be here.
Okay, while we're waiting for you, we have Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center in support. Anybody else other than Honolulu Police Department wishing to testify on HB 2253? Seeing none. Can we move on? It's already 4:10. Okay, we're moving on, sorry. And any questions? But we don't have anybody to testify, to ask questions of. So moving on. HB 2451, relating to mental health. First up, Office of the Public Defender in support. Judiciary in support. Jennifer Wong, are you still present? No, okay, she's moved on.
Oh, she's there.
Sorry, I'm
please
here.
Proceed. You have 1 minute. 2451, fitness to proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, chairs, vice chair, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Wong, and I'm the staff attorney for the Criminal Administrative Division of the First Circuit Court. We stand on our written testimony in strong support of this measure and ask the committee consider the appropriation referenced in our testimony to be considered as the appropriation to the judiciary in section 6, and that the effective date be changed to July 1st, 2024. Finally, the judiciary requests that any appropriations added to this bill not supplant the judiciary's existing funding and current budgetary requests. I am available to answer any questions you may have, and I will be here until then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. There was somebody from Department of Health that was on Zoom for HB 2451.
Yes,
Okay,
good afternoon, chairs and committee members. Brenda Bauer-Smith for the Department of Health. We stand by our written testimony and support and are available should there be any questions. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, stick around. I do have questions of you, okay? Next up, we have Alex of Hawaii Psychological Association and Support. Are you present on Zoom?
They're unavailable on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, Hawaii Disability Rights Center providing comments on Zoom. Are you present, Louis Urcha?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Senator. We think there's a lot in this bill that is really good, and so we're generally in support. The only thing I want to say is telehealth. I think telehealth has tremendous potential in terms of speeding up the fitness evaluations, but I just think that we ought to get clear on the protocols that are going to get used, because sometimes on Zoom, you might miss the nuances that you would get when you're face to face with somebody. And so examining a defendant for fitness kind of involves sort of getting into their head, their state of mind. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to be swapping speed for accuracy. So I would just urge that that there be some oversight over how the protocols are developed. But otherwise, there's a lot to like in this bill, and we're generally in support. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next we have Kirby Shaw for DCAB in support, State Council of Mental Health in support, Hawaii Substance Abuse Coalition in support, Dara Carlin in opposition. Anybody else wishing to testify on HB 2451?
Office of Public.
Okay, come on up.
Briefly, we'll stand by the testimony, and we are in support of it. I am also available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to testify on HB 2451? Okay, seeing none. Jennifer Owong, are you present?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it seems to me that the only request for telehealth examination would be for petty misdemeanors and only certain petty misdemeanors. Is that correct?
Under Act 26, that's correct. Under Act 26, that's correct. It would just be for nonviolent petty misdemeanors. However, I believe that the bill covers all of 704.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Next, I have questions from Department of Health. Are you present, Department of Health? You were here. Hi. So there is an appropriate, will this allowing for telehealth, will it actually save the state money? Or if not, there is a blank appropriation request. How much should we put in here? Because this is a Department of Health priority.
I think it would save them money. Precedent has been set to doing telehealth examinations even before COVID. There's been, best practices put into place. I know Mr. Erdachek had some questions in his earlier testimony about it. As far as saving money, for the court evaluation branch, before this was put in, we're already doing it. Basically, we're already doing a lot of the evaluations via telehealth, and it's saving time and money so that we don't have to travel to the neighbor islands. In the past, sometimes we would travel to the neighbor islands only to have a defendant who's in custody refuse to be interviewed. And then it would lead to a wasted trip, wasted time. So it's not just our belief, we've already demonstrated and seen that having telehealth implemented across the CCCs, prisons, and in some of the hospitals has helped save time and money.
Okay, so if it saves you folks money, why is there an appropriation request? Or if you folks don't need it? One, if you folks are going to save money, why is there an appropriation request?
I would probably have to defer to our administrators. I'm not sure, though, if that's appropriation more for other parts of the bill or for potentially some of the CCCs might not have adequate resources put into place yet. So KCCC, for example, we're not permitted to do telehealth examinations. So it might be to allow for the expansion of services already in place.
Okay, so you know what? This bill isn't going to pass if there's going to be a blank appropriation. So are you guys going to provide written testimony on one, whether or not it saves money and so take out the appropriation request, or two, put in a suggested amount for the appropriation request. Okay, and the sooner the better, right?
And is that, sorry, Senator, is that specific to just the telehealth aspect of the bill?
This is your bill, page 7,
Okay.
section 4.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so whatever it is you folks are requesting, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, can we proceed with decision making?
Yes, we're going to go to the top of the agenda. The
Thank
two
you.
chairs have conferred prior to this hearing to discuss outcomes for these measures on House Bill 2183 HD1 relating to sexual exploitation. We heard from the Attorney General's office as well as the prosecutor's office that this bill is totally not intended to protect the Johns, but to protect the women who might be subjected to prostitution. So we are going to take the AG suggested amendments that they had suggested for page 14, line 16. That is the only suggested amendment. Any discussion? If not, PSM members, I vote yes.
Okay, Chair's recommendations to pass HB 2183 HD1 with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Fukunaga.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Awa.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, I got it.
okay, thank you. So Senator Keohopolole is going to be our Vice Chair Pro Tem. So for HHS, same recommendation, Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye. Senator Aquino is excused. Vice Chair Pro Tem votes aye. Senator Shimabukuro.
Aye.
Senator Awa.
Aye.
Recommendation adopted.
Thank you. On House Bill 2230 HD1 relating to law enforcement. I'd like to pass this measure out with two amendments. The first being the Office of the Governor suggested amendment, just a definition change. So in the bill right now, it refers to trauma-informed therapy. Wherever that is mentioned, we're going to change it to trauma-informed mental health support. That one amendment, as well as the effective date to July 1st, 2042. Members, any discussion? If not, Senator Elefante, I vote yes.
Okay, Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 2230 HD1 with amendments of the 5 members present. Any no votes or votes of reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. So for HHS, same recommendation, Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye with 4 members present. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Seeing none, recommendation adopted.
So for HB 1831, Chair's recommendation is to accept, is to pass with amendments. We're going to accept the Department of Health's proposed amendment. We are going to change the effective date to upon approval. We are going to add in, however, in the committee report, the amount stated by Marian Suji of 6.7 million for the Ivole site, an additional $3 million request for Neighbor Island site, which is in HB 1800. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I have a question. So I'm still, I'm looking at their proposed language on who would be able to use these. Would it be possible just to say in the committee report that the committees intend that the language means that the person does not have to be suicidal?
Yes, that's fine. We can add that in.
Thank you.
A person in crisis need not be suicidal. Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair Pro Tem for the vote.
With 4 members present, are there any reservations? Any no votes? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just 1 second. For PSM members, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elefante, I vote yes.
Okay, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments HB 1831 HD1 of all members present. Any no votes or votes of reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendations adopted.
So for HB 1836, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendment, and the only amendment is we're going to add an effective date to it. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
With 4 members present, passing with amendments with 4 members present, are there any reservations? Any no votes? Recommendation adopted.
For PSM, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elafante, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 1836 HD2 with amendments of the 5 members present. Any no votes or votes with reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Okay, so for HB 2084, based upon the testimony of DLNR, Department of Transportation, Hawaii Military Affairs Council, that they are already cleaning up vacated homeless camps. Chair's recommendation is to defer that. So for HB 2227 HD2, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We're going to accept the DHS proposed amendment. We are going to also add in an effective date of June 1, 20, excuse me, not that one. We're just gonna change the effective date into effective upon approval. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair with a vote.
With 4 members present, are there any reservations or no votes? Recommendation adopted.
For PSM, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elafante, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 2227 HD2 with amendments of the members present. Any no votes or votes with reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Okay, so for HB 2253, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We're gonna change the only thing we're gonna do is just change the effective date of upon approval. We are gonna note an anomaly in the committee report that states that the antagonist can only be purchased by law enforcement officers, yet this bill allows for restaurants and hotel establishments to maintain it. But we're gonna keep that anomaly and hopefully can fix it. At conference. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Chair. Vice Chair.
Wait, question. But
Yeah.
we're
gonna put a defective date.
Okay. Thank
Sorry,
you.
because of the anomaly. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep the effective date of June. When did you learn to do? December 2050. Okay, December 31, 2050.
Thank
Change the effective date. Okay. So it goes into conference to fix the anomaly. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Members passing with amendments. With 4 members present, are there any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation adopted.
For PSM, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elafante, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 2253 HD2 with amendments of all members present. Any no votes or votes or reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, for HB 2451. We're just gonna pass it as is because there are blank amounts in the appropriation, so it's gonna have to go to conference. We're gonna note on the committee report that telehealth should actually save the state money. And any comments, questions, or concerns?
Just a comment. I mean, I think this echoes what Chair San Buenaventura said before. It's not clear to me that the Act 26 is actually working, because it makes perfect sense from a judge's point of view. If they're not fit to proceed, you throw the case out. But if they're being referred to somebody and then they're just walking away from the referral, we have quite a few instances already of people just doing the same thing again. So I support the bill, but I do think we need to look at how that is playing out in real life.
Yes.
Thank you.
I agree. But that's not in the bill, so.
Well, that topic isn't the petty misdemeanor part of it.
Okay, any other comments, questions, concerns? As is, Chair votes aye.
Members passing on amended with 4 members present. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Recommendation adopted.
For PSM, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Elafante, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation is to pass unamended HB 2451 HD3 of the 5 members present. Any no votes or votes or reservations? Hearing none, Mr. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Okay, we are adjourned.
We're adjourned.
We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.